And thanks again to all of you that have taken the time to listen to me talk about PMO manager survival skills. By way of an agenda, I first want to talk about why PMO managers are at high risk. And then I want to talk about, of the many PMO manager survival skills I've seen be of tremendous help to PMO managers, these three specific skills: purpose of the PMO, requirements and stakeholder bias, roles and responsibilities. I also want to provide some executive feedback regarding PMO manager survival skills that I've had in discussions with executives when I'm asked to come in and help them with their project management offices. By way of summary, one of the reasons I think this topic is a very important topic is that when you look at all that's available to help people with the PMOs, there's actually quite a bit that's directed at the PMO itself, how to have the PMO be successful. But PMO success and PMO manager success aren't necessarily the same things. So I really want to focus today on tips and techniques that will help PMO managers not just survive, but thrive in the PMOs that they're responsible for. So, why are those at high risk? Are PMO managers at high risk? I would say they are. And one of the reasons PMO managers are at high risk is that, as I mentioned before, the preponderance of tips, techniques, helpful information really is directed at what PMOs need to do to survive. And it's not nearly as much directed at what PMO managers, as managers of a business unit of some kind, need to do. So that's what we'll be talking about today. Now, organizations go through 3 or more PMO initiatives before finding success. You often hear that studies and analysts put out findings that in the first year, 25% of PMOs are shut down. In year 2, it may jump up to 40 or 50%. By year 3 or 4, 75% of PMOs are shut down. And they may be shut down or they may be recast, but many organizations go through 3 or more PMO initiatives before finding the sweet spot, before finding success. But despite the PMO finding success, those survives. Typically, the PMO manager does not. And that may not just be one PMO manager. There may be 2 or even 3 PMO managers that do not make it. The journey that the PMO takes from its inception to the eventual finding the sweet spot that it needs to be at to meet the needs of the leadership team. That said, I'll talk about PMO manager survival skill number 1, the purpose of project management. Now, I know all of you on the webinar are probably thinking, why did I tune in to hear Mark Perry or anyone talk about the purpose of project management? I know what the purpose of project management is. So I want to test your convictions. And I'll even preface it up front by sharing with you, as someone who's worked in nearly 37 years of project environments and 17 specifically helping PMOs, the majority of project managers that I work with, terrified, do not know the purpose of project management. So let's continue. Consider what you see before you, 2 projects, Project 1 and 2. As you can see by the indicators, green, yellow, red, in shapes, that these projects are in different statuses. You to consider that these are the exact same project. Consider that one project's being done in New York and another project's being done in LA, but they're the exact same project. So we got the case here of Safe Sam versus Fast Eddie. Which project finished later? Which project completed on budget? Which project cost more? We can all tell that by looking at the dashboard. Ask you, which project manager did a better job? Safe Sam or Fast Eddie? Now, applies that, well, we don't believe the data. The project number 1 with all the green has been padded. And so I'd like to consider that all the data is truthful. There's no gamesmanship. There's no padding. All the data is truthful. You got 2 that are the exact same in concept, just done in different places. Which project manager did a better job? It's a simple question. I get some people say, well, the first one did a better job because it's all green. Then people say, now hold on, the second one did a better job, finished sooner. I do a PMO workshop with some colleagues, Andy Jordan and Jesse Fuel, experts in portfolio management and agile. And in my portion of the workshop that we do together, I have this exact slide as part of a case study. The attendees of the workshop and separate them out into teams, usually a couple of teams on one side of the room, a couple of teams on the other side of the room. But what they don't know is I give all the people on the right side of the room, one case set of details, call it case A. Give the team in the room a complete different scenario, call it case B. And this is what those two scenarios look like. In scenario A, the business context is a time-to-market project. The cost is estimated to be about $250,000 to do this project, duration 6 months. In this time-to-market project, the benefit, as soon as the project goes live, will be a $20,000 per day benefit, $20 million over the first, and the stakeholder bias is time. I want it now. Why don't I have this already? The secondary, we don't have to do all the features. We don't have to do the gold plating. We just need the basic ability to do the online web orders from the customer's internet platform. Even tertiary, at this tremendous benefit, the fact that the project is expected to be done in $250,000 is inconsequential to the benefit. So the stakeholder is not even worried about being over budget. In fact, the stakeholder shares with the project manager, I want you to schedule this aggressively. I want you to use negative buffering. If people come back and say it takes 20 days to do a particular phase, I want you to challenge them to do it earlier because every day that we can squeeze out of the schedule is $25,000. The project finished late because it was very aggressively scheduled, but earlier than initially estimated. And the business result is the project finished as early as possible, maximizing benefits. Now, that Safe Sam managed was a project that was subject to penalties. This was a casino that was opening, and in the casino business, if you're late in opening relative to the committed to the regulators and the public, there's a $1 million a day penalty for being late. And if you're late beyond a number of days, you can even lose your license to operate. So as you can imagine, you know, the cost of the project casino readiness to open on time, that this organization had been brought in to help this casino open on time, the cost is relatively inconsequential. The duration is a 6-month engagement to help this casino open on time, and the stakeholder bias is still time, but not I want it now. It's I can't be late. And yes, scope is secondary and cost is tertiary, but this make no mistake about it, I can't be late. And if we can open up all of the mandatory functions and keep it on time, that's great. That's what we need to do. If we're running behind and we can't open up the gift shop, that's no big deal. We don't have to open up the gift shop to run a casino. We don't have to open up the spa to run a casino. But we have to have security in place. We have to have cash management in place. There's functions that we do have to have in place, or else the regulators won't allow us to open. So the approach that the stakeholder wanted the project manager to take based upon the bias was very safe. I want you to, in essence, schedule this project very safely. I want you to use positive buffering. So unlike the previous example where we removed 25% from the initial estimate to encourage a fast completion, here we're going to add time. The discussion goes like this to the project lead. So for this particular component, this phase of the project, how long will it take you? Oh, I think about 20 days. Well, if I give you 25, can you promise me you'll be done on time and not late? So this project finished on time relative to the plan initially estimated, but that's okay.